when a man no longer wants to enter his own home. It's 7:46 p.m. He's parked in his own driveway, engine off, keys in his lap. The grocery bag he picked up on the way home is still on the passenger seat, warming up the cheap takeout he knew no one asked for. The porch light is flickering again, but he won't fix it tonight, not because he forgot, but because he just doesn't care anymore. He's 35, 8 years into a marriage that looks fine on paper. Steady job, 2 kids, a decent house in a quiet neighborhood. But in this moment, sitting in silence, he realizes something terrifying. He doesn't want to walk through that front door. Inside, he knows what waits. A wife who barely speaks to him unless something's broken or unpaid. Kids who don't even pause their YouTube videos when he walks in. A cold kitchen, a colder bed, and a long list of invisible rules he keeps breaking without knowing how. He remembers when coming home used to feel like relief. Now it feels like punishment. Like he's walking into an interview he didn't prepare for. Every night. There's no fight, no screaming, just indifference. That kind of silence that doesn't heal with time. The kind that erodes a man, slowly, quietly. He scrolls his phone for a few minutes, not looking at anything. Just buying time. Just avoiding the moment when he puts his hand on the doorknob and pretends to be okay again. He's not mad. He's not even sad. He's just empty. And that emptiness terrifies him more than any argument ever could. This is how it begins. Not with cheating, not with abuse, but with a man staring at his own house like it belongs to someone else. Wondering when exactly it stopped being a home, and when exactly he stopped being wanted. From the leader to the live-in servant. He used to feel like the man of the house. Now he feels like the janitor, the unpaid, unseen, always on-call janitor. His day starts before everyone else. Up at 6 a.m., shower, coffee. Out the door while the house is still quiet. He works 9, sometimes 10 hours straight. Commutes back in traffic that tests his patience. He walks through the door with aching shoulders and tired eyes, only to be met with dishes in the sink, backpacks on the floor, and a wife scrolling her phone like he never left. No, how was your day? No dinners on the stove, just a subtle glance that says, "Can you take out the trash?" So he does. He takes out the trash. He helps with homework. He unclogs the sink. He loads the dishwasher. He wipes the counters. And later, when the water heater starts acting up, he spends an hour in the garage trying to fix it while the rest of the family watches Netflix. He used to have a voice in the house. Now he's just there to keep it running. When he makes a suggestion, maybe they cut back on spending. Maybe the kids need firmer rules. He's met with eye rolls or sarcasm. He's too harsh. He doesn't understand how hard she has it. He's told to stay in his lane, even though he's the one paving it. Somewhere along the line, the roles shifted. He didn't notice at first. It was small things. She made more decisions. He spoke less. She criticized more. He adjusted. Until one day, he realized he couldn't even choose what to eat for dinner without a debate. He still pays the bills, still protects, still fixes what breaks. But he no longer feels like a protector or provider. He feels like an assistant, and not a respected one. It's not that he minds helping. He loves his family. But what eats at him is the silence, the absence of gratitude, the slow erosion of authority, the feeling that, despite all his efforts, he's just there, occupying space, doing tasks, serving a purpose, not holding a position. He walks past the living room where the TV blares. No one looks up. He walks into the bedroom, closes the door quietly, and stares at the ceiling. This isn't partnership. This isn't leadership. This is a man fulfilling a job description no one respects anymore. And worst of all, he's starting to believe he deserves it. Men don't need love, they need respect. Love is beautiful, but for a man, it's not enough. What he truly needs, what sustains him, is respect. And not the kind written in cards or mentioned on anniversaries, real respect. The kind that listens when he speaks, that values his effort, that treats his decisions like they matter. In modern relationships, this truth is often ignored. Women are taught to seek emotional closeness, vulnerability, romance. Men, they're expected to provide, protect, and stay quiet, to carry burdens without complaint, to keep showing up even when no one notices they're there. But here's the thing. A man can live without constant affection. He can survive without flowers, compliments, or sweet nothings whispered before bed. What he cannot live without is the sense that his presence has weight, that his words carry meaning, that his sacrifices are not invisible. Disrespect doesn't always come in shouting matches. Most of the time, it's quiet. It's the eye roll when he offers a solution, the sarcastic sigh when he brings up a concern, the joke at his expense in front of friends, the way his suggestions are ignored until someone else says the same thing. Little by little, it chips away at him. Not because he's fragile, but because deep down, every man wants to be someone his family can rely on. Every man wants to feel like his judgment is trusted, his actions appreciated, his presence meaningful. When that disappears, something inside him shuts down. He stops giving idea, stops initiating, stops reaching out, not out of laziness, but out of quiet defeat. He learns that in his own home, his value isn't measured by who he is, but by how useful he can be without causing a stir. This isn't about ego, it's about identity. Men define themselves by their ability to lead, to build, to protect. Strip them of the respect tied to that role, and you don't just hurt their pride, you wound their soul. A man who feels unloved can still fight. But a man who feels disrespected, he withdraws. He disconnects. He becomes a shadow, not because he wants to, but because he no longer knows how to show up as himself. Respect isn't a bonus for a man, it's oxygen. Take it away long enough, and he forgets how to breathe. When strangers show him more respect than his own wife, it starts with something small. He holds the door open at the coffee shop, and the barista smiles and says thank you. It catches him off guard. Not because it's unusual, but because it's been so long since someone said it with sincerity. At work, a colleague praises his ideas during a meeting. He nods, humbly, but inside something stirs. He forgot what it felt like to be listened to without resistance. Later that week, he chats briefly with a waitress while waiting for his order. She laughs at his joke, makes eye contact, doesn't rush the moment. It lasts 20 seconds, but it stays with him the entire ride home, because that simple human interaction made him feel like a man again, like someone who matters. And here's where the tragedy begins. He starts to realize that the only time he feels respected is outside his home. The compliments come from co-workers. The patience comes from strangers. The appreciation, the smiles, the attention, the tone of voice comes from people who owe him nothing. Meanwhile, at home, he walks through the door and is greeted with sighs, critiques, or worse, silence. No thanks for the groceries, no reaction when he fixes the sink, no warmth when he sits beside her at the end of the day. He's not looking to be worshipped. He just wants acknowledgement. A hand on his arm, a glance that says, I see you. But it never comes. So when it does appear, even from someone passing through his life, it feels like water in the desert. The most painful realization isn't that others treat him better. It's that the one person who once saw the best in him now barely sees him at all. And so he begins to question things he never used to. Why does a stranger value my effort more than the woman I built my life with? How did I become easier to appreciate in small moments than in the one place I should feel most understood? Respect from a stranger feels good. But when it feels better than respect from your partner, something is deeply wrong. And that quiet, growing ache becomes the beginning of emotional distance that is almost impossible to reverse. The silent collapse of a man's soul. He doesn't scream. He doesn't break things. He doesn't cry in public or post about his pain. No. When a man begins to fall apart, it happens quietly, invisibly, elegantly, almost. He still shows up to work, still cracks a joke here and there, still nods politely at neighbors and holds doors open for strangers. On the outside, he's composed, functioning, but inside, something vital has shut down. He used to dream of building something, becoming someone, going somewhere. Now he just wants peace, not happiness, not excitement, just the absence of conflict, of noise, of pressure. He used to speak up. Now he just lets things slide. It's easier that way, less exhausting. He used to fight for connection, for touch, for warmth. Now he tells himself it doesn't matter, that he's fine, that he's stronger without needing anything. But that's a lie. It's just armor he puts on because hope became too heavy to carry. His smile still appears at family gatherings, but it's automatic. Like a reflex, his eyes don't light up. His laughter doesn't linger. It's all performance now. A well-rehearsed version of the man he used to be. No one notices, because he still pays the bills, still shows up on time, still remembers birthday. But no one asks the one question that matters. Are you still in there? This is what male depression looks like. Not always medication, not always addiction. Sometimes it's just a slow fade, a gradual dimming of spirit. A man who once walked into a room with purpose now drifts through it like a shadow. And because he's quiet, because he doesn't cause problems, because he doesn't beg for help, people assume he's okay. But he's not. He's vanishing. Bit by bit, the collapse of a man's soul doesn't make a sound. It doesn't come with drama. It comes with silence, with long stares into nothing. With mornings where getting out of bed feels like lifting stone, with nights where the quiet is louder than any argument. He won't say it out loud, but deep down he wonders, how did I become this invisible and worse? Does anyone even care? The legal punishment for the man who dares to leave. He finally reaches his breaking point. After years of silence, rejection, and emotional decay, he makes the decision that terrifies him most. He wants out. Not because he stopped loving, but because he stopped surviving. He wants peace. He wants clarity. He wants to breathe again, but the moment he chooses to leave, the world stops pretending to be fair. He walks into court not as a father, not as a provider, not as a man who tried his best, but as a defendant. He's not the one who cheated, not the one who abandoned the family, but none of that matters. The legal system doesn't care who broke the bond. It only cares who's left to pay for it. Half of his assets gone, the home he paid for. She keeps it, the children he raised. He might get weekends if she allows it. Monthly alimony, of course. Even if she initiated the divorce. Even if she earns a salary. Even if she no longer wants anything to do with him. He stands there in a suit, listening to strangers decide how much of his life he no longer owns. his retirement divided, his savings claimed, his dignity optional. And when he objects, when he dares to question the logic he's told to be a man, to take responsibility, to accept the consequences, as if choosing his mental health was a crime, as if walking away from a house that no longer felt like home was a betrayal, not survival. He's not just losing a relationship, he's losing time with his children. Memories, traditions, the bedtime stories, the morning chaos. He becomes a visitor in their lives, a guest in what used to be his world. The law doesn't hand him fairness. It hands him a bill, one that grows every month, one that chains him financially to a version of life he tried to escape. He thought freedom meant starting over, but now he realizes, for men like him, freedom comes at full price, and sometimes that price never stops collecting. The price of turning love into a legal contract. Marriage was never meant to be a courtroom. It used to be sacred, a bond of trust. Two people choosing each other, not because they had to, but because they wanted to. A promise made with hands, not signatures, with hearts, not documents. But today, love comes with paperwork. And that paperwork comes with consequences. It's no longer just a vow, it's a contract. And like every contract, one party benefits more than the other. For men, that contract is a loaded gun pointed at their future. When they sign it, they don't just commit to love, they commit to obligation, to risk, to potential ruin. They may not know it then, but that signature can one day cost them half of everything they build. What's worse, the contract doesn't protect them, it binds them. A man cannot opt out without permission from a system that sees him as the disposable party. He may be the one who worked late, paid the bills, fixed the roof, stayed loyal, but if things fall apart, it's rarely his side the system listens to. Marriage laws were written for a different era, an era when men held all the power. Now, the roles have shifted, but the rules haven't. Today, a man enters marriage with everything to lose and very little to gain, at least legally. Love is supposed to be free, chosen daily, earned through care and commitment. But when it becomes a legal arrangement, it stops being about affection and starts being about leverage. In this game, men don't play from an equal position. They enter with hope and walk away with penalties. And somewhere in the middle, they stop feeling like partners and start feeling like liabilities. The saddest part, many men still believe they're walking into love, but what they're actually walking into is a contract they can't escape without bleeding. A one-sided game where she keeps everything and he loses himself. When the dust settles, she keeps the kids. She keeps the house. She keeps the narrative, the story told to friends, to family, to the world. He just couldn't handle the pressure. He wasn't emotionally available. He gave up. No one questions it. No one asks what he lost in the process. He walks away with a suitcase, a rented apartment that echoes at night, and a monthly payment that drains his account before he can breathe. He eats dinner alone. He scrolls through pictures of his children, trying to memorize faces he now sees only on weekends. He doesn't complain. He knows no one wants to hear it. He goes to work, stays silent, keeps going. But a part of him feels hollow. Not because he lost a relationship, but because he lost control of his own life. Decisions are made without him, schedules set, holidays arranged. He becomes an afterthought in the very family he helped build, and the world applauds her. She's strong. She's doing what's best. She is praised for starting over. He is mocked for falling apart. This is the quiet truth. Marriage today isn't just a risk for men, it's a gamble where the house always wins. And the house isn't a place. It's a system, one that rewards her resilience and punishes his vulnerability. She gets sympathy, support, validation. He gets silence, bills, and blame. In a game where the rules are written to protect one side, the other eventually stops playing, not out of bitterness, but out of survival. Because after losing your kids, your home, your peace, the only thing left to protect is yourself. And that's what no one tells him when he says I do. That the moment things go wrong, love won't be the deciding factor, the game will. And in that game, he was never the one holding the cards. When successful men choose to stay single, they're not bitter, they're not lonely, they're not afraid of love. In fact, many of them have loved deeply and been loved in return. But after seeing what the game really is, what the risks truly are, they made a different choice. They chose freedom. These men aren't hiding from commitment. They're redefining it. They commit to their purpose, their work, their growth. They invest in themselves, not because they're selfish, but because they've realized that no one else will value their time, energy, and peace as much as they do. They wake up when they want, travel when they choose, work late without guilt, rest without judgment. Their money stays theirs. Their schedule is their own. Their focus is undivided. No silent tension across the dinner table. No one waiting to be impressed or entertained. Just clarity. They still date. They still connect. But without contracts, without hidden terms, without the looming threat of legal ruin if things fall apart. They can walk into relationships with an open heart and walk away with their soul intact if it doesn't work out. People around them whisper, "He'll regret it one day." But these men don't look back with regret. They look around with gratitude. They see their married friends, some exhausted, some depressed, some just going through the motions, and they know they made the right call. They've watched the confident turn submissive, the joyful turn numb, the ambitious become trapped in a cycle of obligation and silence. And they said no. Not because they're weak, but because they're finally strong enough to choose a different path. These men build legacies, not legal battles. They pour their energy into ideas that grow, not into arguments that go nowhere. They surround themselves with people who choose them, not depend on them. And at the end of the day, they sleep with peace, not with resentment beside them. This is the truth no one wants to admit. No one. In today's world, sometimes the most responsible, courageous decision a man can make is to stay single. Not to avoid love, but to protect his soul. You can still love without getting married. Love doesn't need a witness. It doesn't need a government stamp, a judge's signature, or a diamond ring to make it real. A man can hold a woman in his arms every night, support her dreams, protect her heart, and still keep his freedom intact. Not because he's afraid of commitment, but because he understands the difference between commitment and control. Marriage today isn't just about love. It's about law. And once love is handed over to the legal system, it stops being a choice and starts becoming an obligation. But real love, the kind that grows from truth and mutual respect, doesn't need contracts to survive. It survives because both people want it to. A man can build a life with a woman, share a home, raise children, grow old side by side without ever signing a document that gives someone else the power to destroy him. And if she stays, it's not because she's bound by law. It's because she chooses him again and again. That choice is worth more than any vow made in front of a crowd. This isn't about running from responsibility. It's about refusing to play a rigged game. It's about saying, I will love you fully, but I won't surrender my life to a system that doesn't protect me. Some will call it selfish. But what's more selfish to love freely and honestly, or to demand a legal contract before giving affection? A man who chooses not to marry isn't refusing to love. He's refusing to be trapped. He's choosing to honor his own worth while still honoring hers. That's not fear. That's wisdom. It's not avoidance. It's awareness. And in a world where too many men have learned what it costs to sign blindly, choosing to love without marriage is no longer rebellion. It's survival. The truth is, men were not born to be tamed. Long before office jobs and wedding rings, men were hunters, builders, explorers. Their instinct wasn't to stay still, it was to move, to seek, to conquer. Not people, but challenges. Not women, but freedom. The wild was never their enemy. It was their home. And yet, somewhere along the line, society began to tame them, not through force, but through guilt, through rules dressed as virtue, through stories that painted obedience as love and control as commitment. Men were told that real strength is submission, that real maturity is silence, that monogamy is the highest form of morality. But biology doesn't sign contracts. Instinct doesn't care about social rules. A man can love deeply and still crave space. He can be loyal and still feel caged by forced routine. He can give his heart but lose himself if the relationship demands he become someone he's not. Monogamy, in its purest form, can be beautiful when chosen freely. But when it's demanded, expected, and enforced by legal consequences and social shaming, it ceases to be intimacy. It becomes imprisonment. This doesn't mean men can't be faithful. Many are. But faithfulness born out of fear or obligation or threat of punishment isn't love. It's compliance. And the more a man feels his nature being shamed, the more likely he is to withdraw, rebel, or simply disappear emotionally. When society tries to domesticate men by stripping away their edge, their ambition, their truth, it doesn't create better husbands. It creates hollow ones. Shells of the men they once were, apologizing for their masculinity, walking on eggshells, suppressing every instinct to keep the peace. But peace without authenticity isn't peace. It's quiet misery. The truth is, a man thrives when he's allowed to remain wild in spirit, when he's free to think, to move, to challenge, when his relationships invite him to rise, not to shrink. When love feels like freedom, not a leash. Men were never meant to be tamed. They were meant to be trusted. And when they are, they give more than obedience, they give their soul. Not because they were forced to, but because they finally found something worth protecting on their own terms. Modern marriage, a sugar-coated trap. From the moment he's old enough to understand stories, a man is told that marriage is the reward. In movies, the hero gets the girl. In sitcoms, the clueless husband stumbles through life but always ends up with a warm hug. In advertisements, a shiny ring brings tears of joy, a white dress, and a happy ever after. It's everywhere, this message that real men settle down, and that marriage is the badge of honor for adulthood. But what they don't show is what comes after the cake is cut. What they never explain is what that small gold ring actually represents. Not just a symbol of love, but a legal contract with fine print no one reads until it's too late. Behind that sweet ceremony are clauses that don't care how loyal you were, how hard you worked, or how much you sacrificed. They don't care who left whom or why. When the court steps in, emotion leaves the room. What's left is division of assets, of time, of identity. Men walk into marriage thinking they're choosing love. But what they're really stepping into is a system, one that has rules, penalties, and winners that are rarely them. The promises made at the altar dissolve the moment one party changes their mind. And when that happens, the law doesn't ask who's right. It just starts dividing, and yet the packaging is beautiful. Romantic proposals, matching pajamas, anniversary photo shoots, all designed to pull men in with the illusion that love, once legalized, will protect them. But ask the man paying alimony to a woman who left him for someone else. Ask the father fighting for weekends with his own children. Ask the husband who lost half his business because he believed in forever. They'll tell you the trap doesn't feel like a trap until it snaps shut. This isn't to say that love isn't real, or that commitment isn't meaningful. But when the system that governs marriage is built to punish, not protect, every man has the right to pause and to question. To ask whether the reward is worth the risk, because sugar on the outside doesn't mean there's no poison underneath. And the sweetest traps are always the ones that smile when they close. Choosing freedom isn't selfish, it's awakening. He doesn't hate women. He doesn't fear commitment. He's not bitter, broken, or afraid of love. He simply woke up. He looked around and saw the wreckage, the men who gave everything and walked away with nothing. The fathers turned into visitors. The husbands turned into paychecks. The men who stayed silent for too long until the silence swallowed them whole. He saw it, and he chose differently. He chose freedom. Not because he wanted to run from responsibility, but because he finally understood that real responsibility begins with protecting his own mind, his own heart, his own path. Society will call him selfish. It will say he's immature, afraid, incomplete. But those voices don't live in his body, though they don't carry his weight. They won't be there in the courtroom or in the quiet apartment when it all falls apart. So he stopped listening. He started building a life rooted in clarity, a life where his energy goes into his purpose, not into battles behind closed doors. Where his focus sharpens, not splits. Where his peace is not a luxury, but a non-negotiable foundation. He still loves, still connects, but on his terms, without handing over the keys to his future in the name of tradition. This isn't rebellion, it's wisdom. The wisdom to know that freedom isn't the absence of love, it's the condition that makes real love possible. Because only a free man can give fully. Only a free man can choose fully. Anything else is just performance. In a world where men are taught to prove their worth by surrendering themselves, choosing to stay whole is an act of courage. A man who walks away from a broken system isn't weak. He's awake. He's seen the cost. He's run the math. And he knows that if something demands the sacrifice of his soul, it's not worth having no matter how beautiful it looks on paper. So he doesn't apologize. He doesn't explain. He simply lives. On his own terms, with his time, his vision, and his fire intact. And that's not selfish. That's the beginning of becoming the man he was always meant to be.